Hey everyone, welcome back to the podcast. Today we're talking about animals, and honestly, it's one of those topics that seems simple at first, but the more you think about it, the more interesting it becomes. Animals are everywhere in our lives. They're in movies, books, advertisements, social media videos, and of course, many people share their homes with them.
Yeah, that's true. And what's fascinating is that even people who don't own pets often feel connected to animals in some way.
Exactly. I'd always wondered why that is. Why do humans seem to have such a strong bond with animals? Maybe part of the reason is that animals allow us to connect with nature. Most of us spend our days surrounded by technology, buildings, and busy schedules. Animals remind us that there's still a natural world outside our daily routines.
I can definitely see that. And I think it starts when we're very young. Think about how many childhood stories involve animals. For many children, animals are among the first living creatures they become curious about. They want to learn about them, interact with them, and sometimes even become completely obsessed with a particular animal.
That's a good point. So, I think animals aren't just a hobby or an interest. They've become an important part of the human experience. And that connection often becomes even stronger when people decide to keep pets.
Absolutely. One thing I've noticed is that people often describe their pets as family members rather than animals. If you ask a pet owner about their dog or cat, they're usually not talking about an animal. They're talking about a companion. I've even heard people say that their pets know them better than some of their friends.
Now, whether that's actually true is another question, but it's clear that people form deep emotional attachments to animals. There are practical benefits too. Looking after a pet can teach responsibility, especially for children. But I think the biggest advantage is emotional support. Life can be stressful, and sometimes simply coming home to a friendly animal can make a difficult day feel a little easier.
I agree.
But I think people sometimes focus too much on the positive side and forget that keeping a pet is a serious commitment. It's easy to fall in love with a cute puppy on social media. What's much harder is waking up early every day, paying veterinary bills, training the animal, and taking care of it for years.
Exactly. A lot of people underestimate the level of responsibility involved. Animals depend entirely on their owners. That's why I think people should think carefully before getting a pet. They should ask themselves whether they have enough time, money, and patience. Unfortunately, some people make impulsive decisions and later realize they're not prepared.
And what's also interesting is how differently pets are treated today compared to the past. If we look back a few generations, animals often had practical roles. Dogs guarded homes, cats caught mice, and horses were used for transportation. Today, things seem very different. In many households, pets have become companions first and workers second.
That's true. But when we talk about animals, we shouldn't forget wildlife. One thing that concerns me is the fact that many wild animals are finding it increasingly difficult to survive because of human activity. As cities expand and populations grow, natural habitats continue to shrink. Some species adapt remarkably well, but many others struggle with habitat loss, pollution, and climate-related changes.
Exactly. People sometimes assume that protecting animals is only about being kind, but conservation is also practical. Healthy ecosystems support countless natural processes that humans depend on. What I find encouraging is that public awareness seems to be growing. More people are interested in conservation, animal welfare, and environmental sustainability than ever before. And honestly, that's probably a positive sign. The way we treat animals says a lot about who we are. Whether we're talking about a beloved pet or a wild animal living far away, animals make our world richer, more diverse, and more interesting. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll see you in the next episode.